Shalom. We'll be getting started shortly. Shalom. We'll be getting started shortly. Okay, we're going to be getting started shortly. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. When I was with you before, I said we're going to pick back up in Romans 11 uh, because we're dealing with who are the Gentiles, and we want to get a proper understanding of who the Gentiles really are, not what tradition says they are or who they are, uh, but what the scriptures say. Okay, it's always important to go with the scriptural definition, not what uh, the doc or the Christian tradition uh, or anybody else's notion or delusion, because people have their own reasons for trying to put themselves in the mix and changing the script or of what Yah has actually said. Okay, so I'm in Romans 11. Those of you that have your sword with you, your book of scriptures, you can follow along. Okay, and then we're going to go to the Tanakh. We're going to go to the Law and the Prophets, Jeremiah specifically, and then we're going to bring this out more and more. Okay, so all praises to the Most High Yah, Yeshua, our elder brother, and thanks to the Ruach HaKodesh for the wisdom that he gives us, and Yah's blessing on the word, okay, that's coming forth. All right, so I'm in Romans 11, and I don't know how many of you though are in here now listening to this feed, heard part one of who are the Gentiles, but this is continuance of that message, okay? Let's see here. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and read. All right, I'm going to go ahead and see time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read at verse 1 of Romans 11. And then I will give some breakdown as I read. Okay. I'm going to be reading kind of fast, so. I say then, have Yah cast away his people? Yah forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. Paul was anointed to be a first fruit. All first fruit are Israelite men. All right. You write that. If you're taking notes, write that down. The book of Revelation talks about first fruit. First fruit are not any mystery. They do not let first fruit be mystery to you. Okay? First fruit are Israelite men. All right? Paul was called to be a first fruit in his day. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 tells you what a first fruit is. Okay? This is why he's saying that. Just so you know, this is why Apostle Paul in the Spirit is saying what he's saying. The Ruach is having him say this in verse 1. I say then, have Yah Elohim cast away his people? Yah forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham from the tribe of Benjamin. Yah have not cast away his people which he foreknew. Know ye not what the scripture saith of Elijah, how he made intercession to Elohim against Israel, saying, Yah, they have killed your prophets and have dug down your altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of Yah unto Elijah? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to Baal. Verse 5. Even so then, at this present time also there is a remnant of Israel according to the election of grace, meaning right, Yah's right to choose. That's what that means, okay? Yah's right, the Most High's right to choose who he will, okay? And who did he choose? Okay, now let's stop it right there. Let's stop right there, okay? And let's see who he chose, all right? Because you got people that want to play dumb for different reasons. But guess what? The book of scriptures, the Ruach and this book of scriptures cleans all that up. Because you got people that want to be stupid. And some of them want to continue to be stupid after they get the instruction. But that's okay. Remnant, you receive. Verse 14, I'm in Isaiah chapter 14. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will still choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined with them and shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the people of Israel shall take them and bring them to their place. The house of Israel shall possess the heathen in the land that Yahweh gave Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes for servants and handmaids. They shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and shall rule over their oppressors. We were taken captives by the heathens, different heathens. So anytime a heathen gonna sit up there and tell you they can cleave, that's if the Most High's angels don't kill them. And that's if they don't get destroyed during the 7 last plagues that's spoken of in the book of Revelation. Okay? That's if the Most High's angels don't destroy them, or if they don't get destroyed in the 7 last plagues. Any that remain when Yeshua touched down to set up the kingdom, they can cleave to Israel. But they will never, and let me say, they will never be the remnant royal Elohim family. Never. From the very beginning, almost, Abba Yah established a royal earthly line and a servant line. And we were not called to be the servants on the earth. They were. The heathens were. Don't make no mistake. Don't make no mistake. And when Satan, the god of this world, got control and allowed the Greeks to proliferate on the earth, then they come down out of the caves and did different things. Satan gave them great power. They gave him he gave his seat to them, great power and authority to go throughout the earth. John 10:10, killing, stealing, and destroying. And what did they do? We got the worst of it because we are the children of Yah Elohim. We got the worst of it. Okay, they killed heathens too. They killed other heathens. But we got the worst of it. because Satan wanted to make sure of that. Now, hopefully that's clear. Hopefully that's clear. Because you got people that Ruach ain't taught them nothing. And let me tell you something about a first fruit. A first fruit is an Israelite vessel, okay? Spirit-filled. Yeah, tongue-talking, spirit-filled. Commandment-keeping. Royal commandment-keeping, okay? Messianic believing, okay? Israelite male. Don't make no mistake. Don't make no mistake. And they have been taught by Ruach HaKodesh. Period. They was not taught by no camp, and they was not taught this real truth by no Christian not organization. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? Now, that's what it is. So now you see it. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were. That ought to tell you, that right there ought to tell somebody that the Edomites cannot possibly, that's trampling over Jerusalem, cannot possibly be us. Because they look just like those that put us in slavery over in America. And they will be our captors, okay? They will be our captors who had made us captive. Somebody need to go run real quick. Run to Revelation 13:9, okay, and 10. Run and go read it and see if it does not harmonize with what I just read there. Go run, run. Because one thing about it, Ruach HaKodesh don't like nobody trying to lie, okay? People need to stop lying. And if you have not been taught by the Ruach and appointed by Yeshua to teach his truth, you need to put it down before Abba Yah activates James 3:1 on you. Okay? And you that don't know James 3:1, you better go find out what that is. Okay? Because when you stumble somebody, believe me, you see what happened in James 3:1. Okay? You better know that you was taught by the Ruach. Now, we'll take them captives whose captives they were, and Israel, the remnant of Israel, shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give you rest from your sorrow. Didn't we have sorrow and slavery and in all the captivities that we was in? That's talking about us. Stop it. Stop it. People sitting there talking about they the people. Use a lie too. Use a lie. You ain't had no sorrow. You lived in riches and splendor, but the Most High is tearing down your beachfront homes as I speak. The waves that Elder Brother said was going to come, the waves are going to be raging. They're destroying the beachfront properties, and their beachfront properties, their nice homes that they've been living in, are falling into the sea. Now you go read it, Matthew 24, right? And they've been living in beachfront homes. We've been living in shacks. But Father's reversing that now. He's already begun. Because the four winds, the angels that hold back the four winds of destruction, or that they were holding it back until Yah sealed his first fruit in the last days with the real gospel, the real, not that fake that your Christian knots been spreading around the earth. Not that fake, and not that fake that your so-called camps teach. Neither one of them is teaching the truth. Stop it. Because anytime I can pick this book up and take you to chapter and verse, and what they say out of their lying mouth don't line up what the Ruach has written in this book of scriptures, you know somebody's lying. And it ain't Abba Yah, it ain't Yeshua, and it ain't Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, I know who's lying. And you ought to just let them be a liar. Let the word say. As the word said. Let every man be a liar. But let Abba Yah be your truth. Now that's what it is. Now you want to sit up there and believe their lies. Go ahead. Go ahead. And Abba Yah got something for you too. A strong delusion. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9 through 11. He got something for a strong delusion. And Isaiah 66:4. He got something for your strong delusion, son. You want to sit up there and take pleasure in unrighteousness and believe not the truth. He got something for you, even if you are a melanated, woolly-head Hebrew. He got something for those that want to be deluded. Now, you reading it out of the book. You want to sit up there and try to make somebody the people, and they not the people. The scripture don't tell you that they're the people. And you see that we're going to rule over those that had us in captivity. Right here, you're reading it. You think you can break scripture? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You think you can break scripture. You can't break no scripture. Just stop it. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yah shall give you rest, talking to Israel, from your sorrow and from your fear and from your hard bondage wherein you were made to serve. And you know our ancestors were made to serve, and some of us are still serving hard bondage under Esau and these other heathens. So now stop it. Now, I had to go there, but I'm going back to Romans. Going back to Romans. Now, Yah, they have killed your prophets. And this right here ain't talking about the heathens this per se. This is talking about other Hebrews kill the first fruit. Prophets are first fruit. Apostles are first fruit. Evangelists are first fruit. And Father always had them for Israel. Okay? And Israel don't like to hear the truth. Your Campite and your Christian not, neither one of them like to hear the real truth. Neither one of them like to hear the new truth, the real truth. Okay? Now, they go about making up their own truth. That's what they done. Both of them. Christian not and your Campite. I don't care if you like it or not. It's the truth. And all you want, and if those of you that can't receive it, you need to just go ahead and get out of this lesson right now because it's not going to be comfortable. Yah, they have killed your prophets and dug down your altars, and I am left alone, Elijah said, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of Yah unto Elijah? I have reserved to myself 7,000 first fruit men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Verse 5, even so then, at this present time also, there is a remnant of Israel according to the election of grace. And I'll show you what grace is over there in Titus chapter 2, verse 11 through 15. If somebody don't want to, you afraid of that word grace. Because any of you that are listening to Christian knowledge, you don't even know what grace is. You run around talking about, I'm under grace, I'm under grace. I ain't got to keep no royal laws. You's a lie. Why don't you go look at James 2:8? Go look at James 2:8, you liar. Go read John 15:10. Go read John 14:15. You's a liar. Go read Matthew 7:23. Many shall say unto me in that day, have we not done many wonderful works? Have we not spoken in your name? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work lawlessness. Okay, do you see what you got coming, Christian not? He's going to tell you to depart from Christian not. And those of you Campites that want to throw up all these vain oblations that have been abolished, Colossians 2:14, you going to have something to deal with too. Okay? Because y'all ain't giving us no fringes. Ain't no power in no fringes. You better put on Christ and take them damn fringes off. You better put the Spirit of Christ on you if you can. If y'all grant you repentance, that's what you need to do. All right, now, I'm dealing with this. And if by grace, then no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. Namely, what that is saying, Ruach HaKodesh, through Paul saying is, it ain't about you putting on no fringes. It ain't about you having those shadow feast days. All these lies. Come to the feast. We roasting some shit, some lamb. Come on and get your eat on. Yeah, and you don't even know that shadow feast day was to point to the day when Yah would send Yeshua, the true Lamb of Elohim. 1 Corinthians 5:7. Ruach HaKodesh, calling every bit of it out. Calling every bit of it out so you don't have to be confused. Okay? So you don't have to be confused because you know Israel, you love to be confused and you love to be lied to. And that's why a lot of you get caught up in a trick bag. Yeah, that's right. Because you want to listen to lies. and you don't know who your elders are, you don't know who y'all sent to teach you this real truth in these last days. But you're going to learn. You're going to learn. Or you're going to be sure. And grace. It is by Father's right to choose. That's what it means when it says grace. Father chooses whom he will. Yeshua said, all that the Father giveth me shall come unto me. And all that come unto me, I will in no wise cast out. That's what he said. No man can come to the Father except the Spirit draw them to me. You got to be drawn to Yeshua by the Spirit in order to be drawn to the Father, in order to come to the Father. So stop it. You ain't coming. You ain't coming unless you come by Yeshua and the words that he taught out of his mouth that was given to him by Abba Yah. And you ain't coming unless, and you ain't going to see the kingdom, John 3:5, unless you are at minimum born of the Ruach HaKodesh and ideally filled with the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't. You can't even see the kingdom. You can't see it. You can't see it. There's a remnant, though. There's a remnant. Even so, then, at this present time, also, there is a remnant of Israel according to the election of grace. And Yah, let me tell you something. If you are a remnant, Yah do not call no remnant that's going to sit up here and lie on his word and follow some pagan holidays and follow some false Christ that the Catholic Church put up called Caesar Borgia, and they put that out in the whole world talking about that's Christ. Okay? The Revelation 1:13-14 tells us what Christ looked like. Just so you wouldn't go off. And he gave us a description what our Abba Yah looks like. And he got woolly hair. And he sits on a throne. Yes. So somebody need to stop lying. That's Daniel 7:9. Abba Yah got a woolly hair like us. And why do he have woolly hair? So you would have a little hint to realize who you are on the earth. And why you got, what? Why I got woolly hair? Because Adam was created in the image of Elohim, Abba Yah, and the Son, and given the Ruach HaKodesh. Let us, Abba Yah said, let us create an Adam in our own image and likeness. And so he was, and so it was. And that's why you got woolly head, and that's why you got the visage of a Negro with your Negro lips and your Negro nose and that long jawline. Look at yourself sometime. Take a look at yourself, a profile of yourself. You got that long prognosticism. That is one of the attributes of an Israelite. Okay? But that ain't enough. That ain't enough to return to Yah. You better return to sonship. You better return to sonship. And how do you do that? I just told you. Through receiving your elder brother Yeshua, who took on a second nature, that of the Israelite man. And you better be cleansed by his words. And you better get born of the Spirit. And you better ideally get filled with the Spirit. And that's what it is. He came to his own, and his own received him not. But as many Israelites that received him, to them he gave the right, the power, or the privilege to become the sons of Elohim. I'm going to John right now. I'm going to John right now. I was going to read through there, but Ruach said, putting these scriptures in my mind, and I've got to go there. All right? I'm going to John right now. 1 John. Because the Ruach is moving. And the Ruach is the one that's bringing this message. All right? 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 3. Verse 1. Behold, what manner of love have the Most High, the Father? What manner of love have the Father bestowed upon us Israelites, that we should be called the sons of Elohim?
Therefore, the world knows us not, because it knew Yeshua not. Beloved, now are we the sons of Elohim. Some of us are. Beloved, now are we the sons of Elohim, and it does not yet appear what we shall be. That's because I ain't got my glorified body. Do you? I ain't got my glorified body, but I sure enough have the first fruits of the Spirit in my spirit. Oh, yes, I do. Okay? Beloved, now we the sons of Elohim, and it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when Yeshua shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Every Hebrew man that have this hope in him purifies himself, even as Yeshua is pure. Now I'm going to Isaiah 66:4. I got to go to Isaiah. He's going to appear. He's going to appear. I'm going to Isaiah. I'm going to Isaiah right now. I'm going to Isaiah right now. I got to bring this word. I got to bring this word as a Ruach right now is anointing me. I got to bring it. I got to bring it. The Ruach say go to 64, 66. Okay, I got to go now. Okay, he shall appear. He shall appear. Where is it? He shall appear. Isaiah. Verse 5. Hear the word of Yahweh. You that tremble. You remnant that tremble at his word. You remnant that his word. Ruach HaKodesh is giving you the understanding. I got to give you the knowledge and the understanding. I got to do it. I got to give it to you. Jeremiah 3:15. I've got to give you the knowledge and the understanding. All right. Hear the word of Abba Yahweh. You remnant that tremble at his word. Your Hebrew brethren that hated you, that cast you out for Yeshua, my namesake, said, let Abba Yah be glorified only, but Yeshua shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. Same thing I just read over there a few minutes ago. Same thing over there in 1 John. Every man, but when he appear, we shall appear like him, because we shall see him as he is. That's Yeshua, our elder brother, who took on the second nature of an Israelite man. That's why we're going to look like him. We're going to have a glorified body just like him. That's why. Talking about nobody but us. Now, he shall appear. Who's going to appear? It didn't say the Father. Yeshua is going to appear. Father sits on his throne. Now, I'm going back to Romans now. I'm going back to Romans 11. I'm going back to Romans 11. Going to Romans 11. What then? I'm in verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which it sought after, but the election, the elect of Israel have attained it, and the rest of Israel was blinded. That's what happened. This whole chapter 11 ain't talking about no heathen, ain't talking about no Edomite being grafted in, ain't talking about no Ammonite, ain't talking about no Moabite, not talking about no Ishmaelite. Stop it. It ain't talking about that. What then? Israel has not attained that which it seek after, which he seeked after, because he is Jacob. Okay? The children of Jacob, they have not received what they were looking for. Okay? They have not received it. And you want to know why they didn't receive it? Go flip over to chapter 10, verse 3. I'll show you right here why they didn't receive it. For they, being ignorant of Yah's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yah. But Christ is the culmination of the ceremonial and sacrificial and oblationary laws for righteousness, in order to obtain righteousness to everyone, to every Israelite that believes. Now, there you go. Now you know why they didn't get it. And do you know why 2/3 was blinded? Now you know. That's why 2/3 are blinded and can't get this true gospel down to save their soul. Even though it be preached right at them in their face, they gonna lie and say, you need some fringes on. That's what they're gonna lie. And fringes never did your ancestors no good. You still went off and broke the first covenant. And they lied, talk about the first covenant is still activated, and use a liar again. Use a liar again. What then? Israel has not attained that which Jacob sought after, but the election of Israel obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it's written, Yah have given them a spirit of slumber, of sleep, eyes that they should not see, ears that they should not hear this gospel. This gospel is the power of Yah to salvation to every Israelite that believes. Unto this day, and it's unto this day now, unto this day. And David saith, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yah forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. Remember, Paul is talking 2,000 years ago. And there were many Israelites in a Gentile, in a heathen state of mind. Matter of fact, they had taken on the ways of the heathen. That's why Jeremiah says, learn not the ways of the heathen. Because Israel didn't just go off in the days of Paul or the days Yeshua walked the earth. They've been going off for a long time. They've been going off wanting to be like the heathens for a long time. Haven't you read Ezekiel chapter 20, where he said, Israel, I know what is in your mind, that you say we will be as the heathen nations around us. Okay? He said, but what is coming into your mind shall not be at all, that you say we shall be as the heathen. So don't think Israel just started going off here in America. Israel was going off when y'all took them out of Egypt and put them into the wilderness to give them Deuteronomy 4:13 laws. And they went off then. So stop it. And the truth be known, when they went in as 70 souls went into Egypt, Jacob, when they were invited there by Joseph, who had become second to Pharaoh in Egypt, and he was invited there, his father and his brothers, 70 souls in all. The reason they went in there because Father caused a famine in the land of Canaan where they were. And that's why they had to go into Egypt. And when they went in Egypt, all they did is continue in their wickedness. And Father said, I got to save a remnant out of these people. And that's why he raised up Moses to bring them out. And they still went off, even though they saw all the mighty works of Abba Yah. Even though Yeshua was like a cloud by day and a pillar of fire hovering over top of, giving them light as they're traveling through the wilderness in the dark and protecting them from the serpents and everything, they still made a golden calf. So don't sit up here. Israel been going off for a long time. There's only a remnant, though. There's only a remnant that will serve Father in spirit and truth. And this is what Paul is talking about in this whole chapter of 11 of Romans. And I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yah forbid. But rather through their fall is come unto the Gentiles. Speaking of like you and me, you and I were both in a heathen Gentile, an heathen state of mind, which made us a Gentile. That made us a Gentile Israelite in our mind. But Yah said, I'm going to go wake up. I'm going to go wake up those who are caught up into the Gentile way. I'm going to start waking them up, show them those Israelites that come to me that I can wake up to whoever the Spirit, whoever hears have ears to hear, let them hear what the Spirit says. So he's going to go, Yah went by his Spirit and raised up Israelites that could hear this true Yah truth. And now those who want to continue in their lies and their Judaism and their distorted form of the new covenant that they were practicing back in the day, he said, now they're going to be jealous. Because I'm going to wake up those same ones that were walking in a Gentile state of mind, and I'm going to use them to make the ones that think they're keeping the new covenant and are not, and have distorted it and created something, what they call the traditions of the elders. I'm going to make them jealous. The Israelites that return to me in truth, I'm going to make them jealous. Okay? And on top of that, yeah, and the heathens will have their material possessions. Yes. Okay? I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yah forbid. For rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles to provoke them to jealousy. I told you what we read in John 7:35. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more shall the fullness? So what Yah is saying here through Paul is that even though they fall from, they're alienated from me, as Ephesians says, even though they're alienated from me, because now they are stuck. They are still trying to hold to these old covenant, and which I said that they have already broken. But now I'm going to give those that had run off into Hellenization, the Israelites that were walking around doing the things of the Greeks, and had went after Hellenization so that they could be rich. Now y'all saying, I'm going to go to those and wake them up. And now these that are walking around thinking that they are chief priests and Pharisees and all that, I'm going to make them jealous, because I'm going to give them the truth. And I'm going to wake them up to the truth. Okay? And that's what happened. That's what's happening, and that's what's happening now. For I speak unto you, Gentiles, inasmuch as I'm an apostle to the Gentiles, I magnify my office. You say, Paul went to all the places where the Israelites had been scattered, living amongst the heathens. Living amongst the heathens. He went there. James 1:1 confirms what I am saying here now. For I speak to the Israelite Gentiles, the Gentile Israelites, inasmuch as I'm an apostle to the Gentiles. He had to go to the heathen nations that they were living in, because that's where they were, to preach this gospel. The word even tells you to the Israelite first, and then to the what? The Greeks. But what you don't know is the Greeks is referring to Israelites that were living amongst the Greeks. That's the part that nobody told you. Okay? And they were living. Of course, Paul had to go there, because that's where they were living. And living as pagans, as heathens. All right? For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the whole world of Israel, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? You see that? What shall it be? In other words, what will it be? Yah giving life. Yah bringing life into the whole family. What will be the receiving of them be? When Yeshua comes and brings both together and we're into one, what would that be? Life from the dead? Because when you are caught up in dead works, those are the pagans, it is life to you, being returned to you. Because there's no life in dead works. There's no life in following after the traditions and the ways of the heathen. So it is life. It will be life to them. And it'll be life to the whole Israelite family when Yah brought both those Pharisees, chief priests that were caught up in their Judaism, what is called the tradition of the elders, the Kabbalah, the Talmud, which were following a corrupted, they were following a corrupted first covenant. So now Father is bringing both back to himself through Yeshua and a new covenant, and through his sacrifice and to obeying the words of Yeshua. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. And now he's bringing both back to one, together in one, in this truth. That's what he's doing. For if the casting away of them be, and we're going to go somewhere else in a minute. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the Israelite world, what shall be the receiving of them be but life from the dead? Okay, Israel being alive. Because you are dead, we were dead in trespasses and sin. You and I were in this land before Yah woke us up. We all were. Wherever we are now, our people that are in England or wherever they may be, that are following after heathen ways, they are Gentiles. They are strangers. They're alienated from Abba Yah, as Ephesians tells us. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. You see that? Abraham was holy. Isaac was holy. Abraham, our patriarch, was holy. If the first fruit be holy, the lump is holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And we are the branches, according to John 15. And we're going to read something over here in Jeremiah in a minute. All right, so now he's getting into the branches. This is important. And if some of the branches be broken off, see that? If some of the branches be blinded and broken off. Now remember, a tree has many branches, but it still comes from the same lump or the stock of the tree. So we're still talking about the same stock, the stock of Abraham. But there are many branches on that same stump or that same trunk of the tree. So how is somebody talking about you coming, how you going to be grafted into something and you regrafted and you was never part of the stump or the trunk of the tree in the first place? Stop it. And we're going to see this more and more as I read. And if some of the branches be broken off the stump or the trunk of the tree, and you being like a wild, because we were like a wild thing running around in these heathen nations, like a wild thing. Yes, we were, following after all this madness of the heathens. And you being a wild olive tree were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. Boast not against the branches. Boast not against the original. Okay, meaning don't boast against the branches that, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the prophets that Yah used to bring forth his truth. Don't boast against them. Then you get in. Now you get in, and now you're going to sit up there and cast aspersions on the apostles. You're going to cast aspersions on Yeshua. You're going to cast aspersion on Isaiah or Jeremiah or one of the other, or Moses or the other prophets that brought some truth in, brought forth certain truth. You can't do that just because Yah is letting you in now. Just because Yah is letting you in. You can't do that now. Boast not against the branches, but if you boast, you bear not the root, but the root you. See there? You will say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. You see that? Why was Israel broken off? Israel was broken off because of unbelief. They did not want to follow Abba Yah. They wanted to go follow the ways of the heathen. And he told us, learn not the ways of the heathen. Now you're seeing it. That will say that the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And you stand by faith. Be not high-minded. You're standing right now. Your standing is because you came back to Christ. You came to Christ when the Spirit came to you and said, return to Christ. And you listened, you heeded, and you drew, and you let the Spirit draw you to Christ. And Christ forgave you of your sins and cleansed you from all unrighteousness and called you to be born of the Spirit. Don't sit up here and boast against those who Yah first used to establish his truth amongst Israel. Don't boast against them. For if Yah spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not you. Now I'm going to prove in a minute that this is all talking about Israel. Behold, therefore the goodness and the severity of Yah on them that fell, severity, but towards you goodness, if you continue in his goodness, otherwise you shall be cut off. Verse 23, and they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. Now watch this, for Yah is able to graft them in again. Now, did you see that right there? Yah, did you catch that? Yah is able to graft them in again. Now, I ask you something. When were the heathens ever grafted in to the 12 tribes? They weren't. So it says here that Yah shall be able to graft them in again. So if Yah's going to graft somebody in again, that means they must have first been part of the tree. They must have first been part of the olive tree. Okay. Why olive trees? Because olives are black. Okay. Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Why sheep? Because sheep have woolly hair, and they were all had brown faces before Esau bred the brown out of them for commercial reasons. All right. Now, for if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were graft contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? See that? Now, listen to the language, because now we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to go into Jeremiah 11, and we're going to see who these people are that are being grafted in. Okay, now we're going to go to Jeremiah. Okay, and I'll say this. The Edomite translators, I'm sure they did not correctly translate certain things there in Romans 11, but we, through the Ruach HaKodesh, we can cross-check things, can't we? Can't we cross-check things with the law and the prophets? Yes, we can. All right, so now I'm going to Jeremiah. I'm going to Jeremiah right now, and we're going to look at something here. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, first I'm going to read to you so you know who we're dealing with. All right, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah. I'm in Jeremiah 11. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yah, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Say you unto them, thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant. See that? Cursed. That's what happened to some of our Israelite ancestors. They were cursed. They were cursed because they did not obey. Jeremiah obeyed. Others obeyed. Okay? which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. You ought to ask yourself, who did he bring out of the land of Egypt if it was not the Israelites? From the iron furnace, saying, obey my voice and do them according to all which I command you. So shall you be my people, and I will be your Elohim. See that? That I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I and said, so be it, O Yah. That's what Jeremiah said. So be it, Yah, I will deliver the message. Then Yah said unto me, proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant, and do them. For I earnestly protested unto your fathers in the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt. He's prophesying now, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, obey my voice. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of their evil heart. This is about Israel, the rebels among Israel. Therefore, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. And Yah said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquity of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. I told you they were alienated from him. Ephesians said we were strangers, alienated. The rebels of Israel were alienated and strangers. I will not hearken unto them. Then shall the cities of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the Elohim, unto whom they offer incense, but they shall not save them at all in the day of their trouble. For according to the number of your cities were your gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have you set up altars to that shameful thing, shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal. Therefore, pray not for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for they will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me. I will not hear them in the time they will cry unto me for their trouble. What have my beloved to do in my house, seeing she have wrought lewdness with many? Now, Father's referring to her as Israel. It's Israel has wrought lewdness with many. And the holy flesh, what kind of flesh was it? Holy flesh is passed from you. When you do as evil, then you rejoice. Yahweh called your name a green, what does it say? Olive tree. Now, isn't that what we read over there? Yahweh called your name a green olive tree and goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he have kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. Now, you tell me who he's talking about over in Romans 11, will you? Okay? Now, you tell me. It's the same language, olive tree, and he's talking about Israel. Yahweh called your name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. Yah have kindled fire upon it, his olive tree, and the branches of it are broken off. Now you go back and read Romans. You go back and read Romans 11, and you tell me it's talking about grafting in some heathens, and then you keep on telling me that, and I'll just tell you a liar, because you're seeing it right here. You're seeing the definition of an olive tree right now. It's talking about Israel. He said, I called your name a green olive tree, Israel. For Yah of hosts have planted thee. See that? Have pronounced evil. For Yah of hosts that planted you, Israel, have pronounced evil against you, for the evil of the house of Israel and the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves, to provoke me to anger in offering incense to Baal. And Yah have given me knowledge of it, and I know it. Then you showest me their doings. But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof. Because Jeremiah was a branch in the good olive tree. That's what he's talking about. Jeremiah was a branch in the good olive tree. They have devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may no more be remembered. See that? Jeremiah was one of those branches in the good olive tree. But O Yah of hosts, that judges righteously, that trieth the reins and the heart, let me see your vengeance on them, for unto thee have I revealed my cause. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Elohim, therefore saith Yahweh of the men of Anatoth, talking about Levi, that seek your life, saying, prophesy not in the name of that prophesy not in the name of Yah, that thou die not by our hand. Therefore, thus saith Yah of hosts, behold, I will punish them. The young men shall die by the sword, their sons and daughters shall die by famine, and there shall be no remnant of them. For I will bring evil upon the men of Anatoth, even the year of their visitation. See, they didn't want Jeremiah, who was part of the good olive tree. They did not want him to prophesy. And they said to him, they said, don't prophesy to us the things that Yah is telling you, because we don't want to kill you by our hand. But they were ready to. Okay? And that's what you're reading here. Jeremiah was one of those Israelites that was in the good olive tree. Okay? And you're not supposed to boast against the first fruit. Okay? The first fruit are those that remained in the olive tree and did what Yah told them to do and said what Yah told them to say. Okay? So, now there you have it. Excuse me. I've been talking 59 minutes, and I've brought this message, and this is part 2. And I know you were edified by it, because anytime we receive the knowledge of the truth and we receive it, and now we do not have to doubt what is being said, we are built up in our faith, and we don't have to be in doubt, okay, concerning who Yah is talking about in Romans 11. Okay? All right, look, Remnant Israelite family. This has been Elder Shamar. I'll be back later with another message. Okay? All praises to the Most High Yah, Yeshua, and Ruach HaKodesh, the Royal Elohim family.